friends, thanks for joining us. Do us a huge favor. Smash that subscribe button. We're going to be here all CFL season long, all Bomber season long. Week 1 of the CFL season. Bombers got that coveted week 1 bye.
Rest up.
Ooh, Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us at Ray Benny Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Check us out also on Reddit and Discord. And don't forget to leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
Let's get right into it. Initial thoughts on Bomber cuts and the current roster. Well, acknowledging that it's really hard to pin down what that opening lineup will be. Not hard to pin down. I think most of them are kind of easy to pin down. There's a couple spots here and there, maybe, but the Bombers have that bye coming up, so they're in no rush to really pin themselves down anyway and announce any kind of roster, what's happening. So we'll just speculate and have fun with that. Any thoughts on any cuts that were like, what the heck, or wow, or?
Yeah, nothing too dramatic here at all for me, cut-wise. I mean, Myron Mitchell getting cut, played in some games last year, was looking strong apparently at rookie camp this year and stuff like that, but ended up getting cut. But I mean, no big guys, no big names kind of here.
No.
The surprising thing to me was some of the guys that they went after in free agency, some of them not even making the squad afterwards. Brock Gowallock and then Shea Patterson, right? I know I said that name wrong. That's not, and then practice squad, Reggie White and Gavin Cobb, both on the practice squad, and then a few guys, Logan, Haggerty, all on the IR to start. And like you said, it's a week 1 bye, so maybe they're just playing with some numbers here and trying to get guys. But a lot of guys, rookie class, are on this initial roster. Like most of them are on the roster and 2 of them are on the practice squad. So that's a good initial start there. I mean, of course, like you say, roster gymnastics may happen here at some point because you also got guys that are on the RR, like Logan, Lofton, Haggerty, and Kelly, right? So they're going to have to move some guys at some point here to get these guys back on the roster, but nothing too crazy. I'm liking it. It looks good. It's, for me, the biggest question marks will be the receiver spots with Wheatfall and Glacius.
Yeah, I'm very optimistic with those two. The only thing I'm concerned about with the receiving squad, core, whatever you want to call them, is the size. They're lacking a big body. I think Clercius, a big body at 6'2", 217 is the biggest one they got. And everyone's hovering around 6 foot 200. So they're not small or tiny by any means.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have Dalton Schoens and Dembski across the board all day, I'll go with that all day. I'm just saying, there's not necessarily a jump ball threat, although Wheatfall caught that crazy ball from Caleros that was a total jump ball, and he went up and got it. Yeah. DB had no chance even. So yeah, I'm a bit disappointed that AK Gassama. I know his chances of him making the team were kind of low. My camera's a little fuzzy. I'll fix that in a bit. He definitely had a hard road ahead making that roster, and now being cut. It'll be even a steeper climb to that football journey. So who knows what happens to him? But that's just a personal, I always like to cheer for the local guy. Nice to see that they're able to keep that Quentin Cooley at running back, but how long can they keep him on the practice roster? The camera fixed itself. Like, Peyton Logan has to come back eventually. They'll have to make room there. Who gets dropped? Do you keep him still? Do you keep 2 running backs on the practice roster? I don't think so. So we might lose him eventually. Any thoughts on the QB room? I think it's all right. Nice to see Chase Artipus stick around, showing some signs, got hit hard in that Saskatchewan game in the week 2 of the preseason, or game number 2 of the preseason. So yeah, Cameron Dukes is out there. I'm not 100% on the backup situation too. If Zach Caleros goes down, it's a huge what if. So I don't know. I've always been intrigued by Cameron Duke's talent because he does have legs to move.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting thing, especially, I mean, obviously week 1 for the Bombers, which is week 2, CFL will answer some questions in that QB spot for us, right? Is it going to be Straveller starting? Probably, right? Will he finish that game? Will Wilson or get any time in there? And do they trust Wilson to go in there and compete? It'll be interesting for me to see if they keep all 4 of these guys, or especially who they choose from between Artupeas and Wilson at the end of it all, right? So I don't know if I'm saying that right either. So so that'll be another big decision. Like you say, these guys when Logan's back, right? When Logan's back, yeah, you'll have to make a decision on Cooley, right? Or you
Yeah.
have to make a decision on Peterson,
Oh,
right?
he stays. I
So yeah, you
That's my
traded for a
personal
guy.
opinion.
Yeah, you're thinking he's staying. So one guy's got to go there. Do you really keep another running back on the practice squad when you got three already on the active roster, kind of thing?
An American running back.
Plus your fullback, right? So yeah, some moves will have to be made, but and plus Dylan Mitchell, he's backing up Wheatfall too.
Yeah.
So apparently, like from what I've read and seen, did not have the greatest of camps, but the guy has some pedigree in the CFL already, right? So hopefully he's just taking a bit of a slow start to get going because we definitely need him. Because if one of those guys go down, and I know last year we had a lot of guys go down. Ontario Wilson stepped up.
Yeah.
We still had Kenny Lawler and stuff like that, and guys were just making plays.
Mhm.
And Claricius and Weedfall had big games as well. So we're gonna need that this year, especially if guys struggle out of the gate. Now they're starters. Now they're expected to go out there and perform. Weedfall and Claricius, right? We can't just rely on Dembski and Dalton Schoen to carry the load every week.
Yeah.
So be a lot of pressure on those guys, and I think it might be a lot of pressure to start as well on Brady Oliveira. I think we're probably going to lean on him a little bit, especially in that first game, to see if he can carry this team a little bit more and put more pressure on our shoulders. Because we saw Collaros try to carry this team late last season. It didn't end up working out too well, but when they did it with Brady Oliveira, he was having some great games.
Yeah. So that's a good thing. Go
Yeah.
ahead, lean on him. We know he can carry
Oh, and
the
you need
load.
to for sure. Yeah.
And I like that O line. The O line's coming in with a bit more consistency. Hopefully, because the O line was really a concern from a fan's point of view earlier on in that season. They were not playing very well. Collaros wasn't given a lot of time. They weren't getting the ball out of Collaros' hands early, which was a nice thing to see in the preseason in both the Saskatchewan games, that they're getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands early, no matter who it was. So yeah, I'm very optimistic with the O line unless there's an injury.
Well,
That
Lofton's out right now, right?
second game against Saskatchewan was very concerning with a lot of the backups playing. They did not look very well in the run or in the pass.
Well, Eric Lofton's on the IR to start. I don't know how long that's going to be. So it looks like Randolph might go in for him if he is out, right?
Yeah.
And who are they going with the left guard? Vanderpool? I don't. There's obviously no depth charts out yet, really, from the Bombers, so we don't know what's going there. So it might be a little bit sketchy in that first game with Lofton out and a new left guard in there. So
I do like Randolph. I do like Randolph.
Oh yeah, he stepped up last year.
Yeah. So hopefully we get more of a performance from the O line from that 10-game winning streak than we do from the 0-4 start.
What do you think of these rookies that have made this roster? You think special teams pretty much, or you think any of them are really going to make an impact, especially the linebackers, Connor Shea, Jalen Smith?
No, not right away.
Not much going on there.
No, it's no shot to them. That defense,
yeah.
the
Sorry.
linebacker crew is strong. We'll get to if you want to talk about linebackers now, that's a solid group. And again, I don't have a hate on for Kyrie Wilson. He's a phenomenal football player when healthy. And let's hope he is healthy. But I'm really intrigued by Jonathan Jones. I really like his athleticism. I like his ability. I think he was leading the Bombers in tackles against Saskatchewan in the first game. And even got not an interception, I don't think. He was playing good pass defense either which way. And I think he's a great athlete, and I'd love to see him on the field. So, but let's hope Kyrie Wilson is healthy, gets back to all-star player that he can be, and a leader on that defense. Because that linebacking crew with Tony Jones and Reddick Cramdy, I think they can be really strong. And we'll get to that D-line in a second, because if that D-line plays strong, that linebacker crew will shine.
Yeah, sorry for skipping ahead there.
No, don't apologize.
But yeah, I'm interested to see with Jones as well what he can do. Kyrie Wilson, hopefully he has that bounce back season. But there's a lot of depth on that linebacking crew, especially with these rookies. And I know chances of them getting many snaps are not there, but at least they have the depth if some guys do go down for these guys to step in. And you got Bayer still back there too as well. You got your older reliable Goche, kind of thing. Yeah. So they got some good guys there. So, and they're going to need those guys to step up And Tony Jones last year showed that he can play in the CFL, coming over after being picked up after release from Edmonton there. So yeah,
Absolutely.
hopefully he keeps going because I mean, just build off of what he did last year, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it gave the Bombers the courage to say to Adam Bighill, "Hey, thanks for your service and everything like that, but we're good with Tony Jones right now to kind of take over." So
I'm
I
very
expect another big year from him.
man. The unit I am most excited and optimistic about is that D line. Man, if they have Adams, Lawson in the middle, Cam Lawson lost him for the season.
Awesome.
Didn't even get a taste, bro. So Adams, Lawson, Jefferson, Vaughters to start. If they can stay healthy, they'll get some solid rotational play from guys like, yes, Jake Thomas. They got Schmeckel, Jamal Woods. They picked up Manitoba's own that Cornelson.
Cornelson. Yeah,
See,
Cornelson. Yeah.
I'll figure it out. But yes, they are deep. It's a unit that could be like Toronto's was last year, where they're constantly rotating people to get pressure on the quarterback and stop the run. The Bombers D line, when those front four, the front stars were going well, they're well. But in regards to rotation or losing guys off, there wasn't much depth, at least from what I
No.
can remember last year. But I think they've done a real good job. Again, if guys stay healthy, especially Cam Lawson, I'm really optimistic about that group.
It was pretty rotational last year, right? Because I mean, what was it? Garbett came in late.
Yeah.
Um,
He's all right.
and I'm not rotational in a game. Like game by game was rotational because then you guys had guys getting hurt,
Yeah.
right? Haba as well, right? Had
Celis
some
the
good,
Haba, that's right.
had some good games, had some off games, and didn't play all that. So yes, and then Cam Lawson, like you said, was out as well. So you got 8 guys here. Um, you got to keep them fresh. We always say this: the D line needs to be fresh. The D line needs to be disruptive.
Yeah.
The D line was disruptive when the Bombers won the Grey Cup against Hamilton that first year. They dominated that line of scrimmage, and you need that, and you need guys, and you need to keep Willie Jefferson. And this is where Vaughters comes in. Like, you need Willie Jefferson. You
Yes.
can't have him double teamed. And if he is double teamed, at least you have a guy on the other side, like we had Jeff Coat. He would take
Yeah,
advantage of it.
man. We
We
missed that
need that
dude.
guy,
Yeah.
So we need Vaughters to step up and do that. And the guys in the middle to just clog shit up. And that run game, stopping the run game needs to be well improved over last year.
I'm so excited to see them play. I think they
Ah,
could be really
yeah.
troublesome for a lot of teams.
Yeah, and to add into it, I know we're still going to talk about the DBs, but Jordan Younger, a second year now running his defense, and this defense last year it gave up yards, but it didn't give up a lot of points. And unfortunately, I don't, as far as I can remember, it wasn't a lot of turnovers either. I know we had Ford with a lot of interceptions. The sacks weren't really there, but I think a second year of Jordan Younger and him calling his defense, I feel like it'll get a little bit more aggressive as they get more comfortable in it, and it's going to shine again.
I think with the secondary, what will really be tested is whether it's Younger and Richie Hall coaching up these DBs to continuously keep up the quality play of the defensive backfield, or was it Ted Gouveia and the scouting team that they had, and Danny Mack, who's still there, but the scouting unit, team, whatever, it has changed. Scouting
Yeah,
department has changed. Ted
yeah.
Gouveia is now running Hamilton as we see him bring half of the bomber team over with him. That's crazy, but not surprising. Any which way. So yeah, I'm very optimistic about the DBs because you have two great CFL DBs to coach them up in Jordan Younger and Richie Hall, like you said. But yeah, let's see if they can also continue to bring in the talent. Because what's his name at safety? Jamal Parker as safety will be very interesting to watch. I'm very optimistic about that with his veteran leadership and him being able to see the field and play it at safety.
Yeah, that'll be a big question mark. You got big shoes to fill there with Brandon Alexander gone, right? And Brandon Alexander, he brought the hit stick, you know. So now Parker's maybe he'll bring a different kind of thing, right? He'll see the field a little bit more and be that ball hawk kind of guy or something like that. But the questions are on the outside, right? Bonds had a good season last year. Can he continue it? And then Bridges now, who's coming in and taking Ford's spot, right? And those are again big shoes to fill. The guy had 7 interceptions last year, 7 or 8. So he was a force on that outside. Tyrell Ford was. So Yeah, DBs to me for the last few years have always played well though for the Bombers, and like you say, the scouting of them has been great. Right, we got Nichols and Holmes
Yeah.
still in the middle. Again, they've been solid players for the Bombers. Nichols now for a while, and Holmes just coming into his own more and more every year. So I'm excited to see what those guys can do, and I think that that unit will be fine.
I guess going back to D line, also who's gonna be that consistent third? Like you mentioned about Celestine Haba, and even let's go back to Jonathan Kongbo. You know, you had that guy come in, so who will be that person to take the reins on that?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Lots of time to find out.
Yeah, yeah, you're definitely going to need one guy to step up there, right? Because hey, Woods and Adams. I mean, Woods or was it Adams last year came in? He played for the Bombers last year, 4 sacks, I think, right,
You
or
bet.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So later on in the season, right? So
Mm-hmm.
time to take another step for that guy. But the only thing is Vaughters, and you want to go, don't want to talk about injuries, but you go back to them. If Vaughters or Jefferson gets hurt, where do we go from there?
Yep. Where do we go from there? Bomber fans, put your comment. Did I cover everything here? Are we good to
Yeah,
move forward?
yeah, I think we got
Just got to
everything.
check in. Bomber
Yeah.
fans, put your thoughts on the roster, on your cuts, what you think about the Bomber team moving forward. Let's go into some predictions. Bomber final record. What do you think their final record will be?
Going with 10-8.
Ooh, 10-8, eh? That's very close to
Yeah.
what I have.
What do you got?
I have them at 11-7. I really see them
Pretty
stumbling
close.
early in July against the Argos because they always have trouble with the Argos. I see them having difficulty maybe with Hamilton late in the season and maybe Saskatchewan beating them late in the season, which will come into play into the next when we talk about the West Division standings. But yeah, I see them coming at 11-7, still very strong. A little more pushback from the West this year, I think, and a little more pushback from the East as well.
Yeah, I feel like as well, this is going to be a new offense, right? Hogan's taking over.
Yeah,
You got a couple of new receivers in there. The O line pretty much there, but you got a couple, or at least one new guy, and then depending on what Lofton happens with Lofton, right? And then you got Dalton Schoen coming back, who hasn't played really in a couple of years. So, what shape is he going to be in? Football shape wise, like
yeah.
is he going to be right out of the gate? Is he going to be the old Dalton Schoen, or is it going to take him a few games, half a season to kind of get back into it? And Dembski has shown wear and tear on his body for the last couple of years, taking those big hits, and doing his running back kind of role. So, as long as those guys can get it going, I feel like the Bombers will be okay, but I think it'll be a slower start for that offense.
Run to set up the pass.
That's the thing. Lean on Oliveira
Run
until
to
guys
set up
are
the pass.
knowing where they need to be.
Oliveira can also catch the ball in the backfield too.
Exactly. Yep.
West Division standings. When I mentioned Saskatchewan beating the Bombers late in the season to take, did I say? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't
You
think I
didn't
said
say to
that.
take anything.
To take first place in the West.
There you go.
I think Saskatchewan will be a very good team this year. I don't think they'll be phenomenally better than the Bombers, but I think they'll do enough and maybe win that last game against the Bombers late in the season to take first place. Then I see Winnipeg in second, Edmonton in third, BC four, Calgary five.
All right. All right. I'm going to go BC first.
Ooh, we have them on almost opposite sides of the scale
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Obviously, a lot lies on Nathan Rourke there and Buck Pierce. We'll see what he can do out there, but I feel like they got enough talent on that team still to compete and,
Yeah.
and be at the top of that standings. And I expect Nathan Rourke, now that he's back and fully invested in the CFL, to bounce back and be the old Nathan Rourke kind of thing. So that's where BC coming in first comes for me, Saskatchewan second, Winnipeg third.
Ooh. So do they just squeak in? Sorry, who else do you got? So who do you got fourth and fifth? Sorry.
Still on the fence. I'm going to go Edmonton, Calgary. I think Calgary's just not there yet. Think Vernon Adams is going to have a good season, but I don't know if it'll be enough to overcome Calgary's shortcomings. And then I'm still Trey Ford, big year for him, right? And I think he'll learn and get better, but don't think it'll be enough for the Elks to make the playoffs.
Dang. Dang.
Yeah, a bit of a step back for the Bombers this year. Obviously, I still expect them to make the playoffs and all that.
Yeah.
But, at some point, something's got to kind of step back a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I probably said the same thing last year. So,
Neither of us have the Bombers hosting the West Final.
no, I don't even have them hosting a playoff game this year.
Playoffs.
Playoffs?
East Division. Standings there. I have Toronto in first, Hamilton in second, Montreal in third, Ottawa fourth.
Okay. I'm going to go Toronto. I'm going to go Hamilton, Ottawa, Montreal missing the playoffs.
Ooh, that's a hard division to figure out.
Yeah.
Because I think Montreal will be good with their QB, and I think Ottawa will be great with Drew Brown. I was about to say Drew Brees.
Drew
Drew
Brees.
Brown. So I had a hard time putting them at fourth, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the East will be better than the West this year. As a whole, that's I feel like that's. I mean, it's building like the last year it was, and Hamilton is for missing the playoffs and all that stuff. They were definitely in the mix, right?
Yeah.
And that, and what was it? Saskatchewan, Edmonton, kind of Calgary. I mean, Calgary obviously had a rough season, but Saskatchewan was kind of limping their way to the playoffs the whole time, and Hamilton still had that chance. So again, Bo Levi Mitchell, man, can he repeat that success after we said he was done, basically, right? So
The East will be better than we have bold predictions later, man.
no, maybe I should have saved it for that one. Yeah.
That's a bold prediction right there. Dang. Playoff picture and Grey Cup appearance. So in the West, I have the Bombers second. And so actually I do have the Bombers hosting a game. I have them hosting the semifinals.
Yeah, not the West final, you said though.
So, okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I think Winnipeg beats Edmonton in the West semifinal, goes to Mosaic, breaks Rider Nation hearts, drinks those tears, and then win the grit. Oh, wow.
Ooh. You jumped ahead there. You jumped ahead.
First I start back, now I go ahead. So that's what I have. Bombers going to the Grey Cup. And clearly you know what I'm going to say next, but any which way. What do you got for the West?
Bombers will end up beating Saskatchewan as well in the semifinal. So there you go. In Mosaic as well. Sorry for that, Saskatchewan fans. And then losing ultimately to BC in the West final. Yeah, I'm not. No, sorry. Sorry for being sorry.
Saskatchewan fans.
BC making the Grey Cup for me.
Okay. In the East, how do you see that going?
So Ottawa versus Hamilton. Ottawa beats Hamilton. Toronto, Ottawa. Ottawa beats Toronto. Ottawa, BC, Grey Cup final.
That's pretty dope. That'd be crazy.
That's another bold prediction.
In Winnipeg. Oh man, I gotta sit in the cold and watch that.
Yeah,
it'll probably be a good game.
Hopefully that'll still bring the fans in.
Oh, for sure. I'll still be there. I'll still be there. I'm not selling my ticket. No. In the East, I have Hamilton beating Montreal in the semis. And they go into Toronto, and Hamilton beats the Argos.
At least we both have the Argos getting upset in the finals there.
So I have a Bomber Tie-Cat Grey Cup.
Ooh, another rematch.
Yeah. And the Bombers winning the Grey Cup.
You know what? I'm going to throw my bold prediction early. Ottawa wins the Grey Cup.
Wow, wins it. Not only gets there, we have to sit there and watch.
You get to watch Bobby Dice win the Grey Cup.
Bobby Dice and Drew Brown win the Grey Cup. I'll cheer for Bobby Dice for sure, though. Yeah, I would.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Not against the Bombers.
No.
In that scenario that you have.
Yes. If they play anyone but the Bombers.
Jeez. I'm wearing red and black that day. Bomber Team Awards predictions. Let's go through this one quickly. Who do you have for MOP?
Brady Oliveira.
I have Dalton Schoen. Who do you have for Canadian?
Brady Oliveira.
Brady Oliveira.
I went on a limb here.
Who do you have on defense?
Willie Jefferson, bouncing back. Not that he had a bad season last year, but his stats are going to be even better than last year.
Dang, I got Tony Jones. Special teams.
Sergio. I
Yeah,
hope
unless
it's
Peyton.
Peyton Logan.
Yes, me too. But he's starting off on the injured list.
Yeah.
O line.
That was tough. I stuck with Stanley Bryant, but I was trying to look at who could else could step up there, but I'm not sold on any of them playing better than Bryant.
I'll go Chris Kolinkowski.
There you go.
Who will lead the CFL in passing yards?
Good old Bo.
I got him too. I got Bo Levi Mitchell, and I got him for TDs as well.
Same thing. Yep.
All right, let's go rushing yards. Who will lead the league in rushing yards this year?
Going back to my man, Brady Oliveira.
Me too. Who do you have for touchdowns?
This one kind of sucks because it's like it's always the backup QB that has it, right? Stevenson or Strebler, which one? Pick one. Those 1 yard plunges.
Strebler.
Yeah.
I think it'd be like whenever Brady Oliveira gets a chance to run the ball inside the 10, I'm going to believe he's going for that goal line. So I'm going to say Brady Oliveira.
Okay, cool.
Who do you have for receiving yards in the league?
Tim White. Just because Bo Levi's got one of his receivers has got to be up there, right?
Okay, then you got Tim White for yards. Who do you got for touchdowns?
Eugene Lewis.
Oh, he led the league last year in touchdowns. No?
Yeah, or he was up there. He was close. Maybe he was.
I think he did.
Can't remember now. Yeah.
I'm going to go with last year's receiving yards leader, Justin McInnis, right? Justin McInnis.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go with Tim White for touchdowns.
All right.
Who do you got for tackles?
Tyrese Beverett.
Well, that's a solid one.
Yeah, obviously he was on the Bombers.
I got Tony Jones.
Oh, there you go.
Who's going to lead the lead in sacks this year?
Jake Serezna.
Agreed.
Is a beast.
I know. And in Edmonton, this Edmonton team's any which way. I'll save that for later.
Let's see if they can take the next step.
Interceptions.
I'm going back to Roland Milligan again. He'll take it.
I'm going to go Tyrell Ford. Edmonton were ball hawks last year. They had a lot of guys in the top 15, I think. So I think the opportunity will be there. Let's go into CFL Week 1 predictions. Saskatchewan, Ottawa. Who wins that one?
I know I picked Ottawa to win the Grey Cup, but I'm picking Saskatchewan in Week 1 just because it's in Saskatchewan.
I agree. I take Saskatchewan, a lot of hype, and the Rough Riders love early season football. Montreal, Argos. I will take Montreal at home. Argos still getting used to a larger roster changeover. So I'm going to take Montreal home.
I'm still picking the Argos over the Owls, even if Chad Kelly doesn't play, because I think he's currently injured and Arbuckle's with the number ones. I'm still not sure on Davis Alexander. I know he looked good last year, but I think Toronto's D will still be formidable.
Hamilton, Calgary.
Hamilton.
Calgary is not going to be very good this year.
It all depends what Vernon Adams can do out there, I guess, right?
They still don't have a very good O-line. Their defense is not very good. So, again, they got Reggie Beggleton, and they got, Philpott, right? So,
yeah.
And the running back, not Mills. Is it Mills?
I don't know. He could still be there. I didn't see if their cuts really by the end of it.
See, so I don't believe they're going to do it. Edmonton, BC. I'm going to go with Edmonton. Too many distractions. Snoop. Maybe that stuff's going to get in the ventilation. Straight up to the BC dressing room. Any which way, I'm going to go with Edmonton in this one.
Okay, good for BC for having these concerts, man.
Hell yeah.
Went from LL Cool J to, I can't remember who it was last year, now you're at Snoop. Like, that's fantastic. Even, you know what, even if 10, 20,000 people are in that stadium just to watch Snoop, at least you're bringing them in and hopefully they stick around and they're like, hey, man, this is actually a pretty good sport or entertainment, right?
Yeah.
So
was it 50 Cent last year?
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Shit.
Yeah. So, yeah, you just keep getting better and better, right? So,
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
You
go
ahead.
No,
it's your prediction. I already
okay. I'm going to pick BC over Edmonton.
I'm really excited to see this Edmonton team play. You know, they're in the West, and they're a competitor, and they beat the Bombers' ass so much in the 80s and 90s. But the Bombers beat them in the 1990 Grey Cup. They whooped them good.
Oh, they whooped them. Yes, they did.
But I want to see that team succeed. And I think they have a squad to do that this year. And I'm going to segue into bold predictions for 2025, I think Edmonton, they're going to get back to the winning ways. I think Trey Ford takes a huge step forward and is in MOP conversation for the bulk of the season. That's going to be my bold prediction. I'm putting a lot of money on Trey Ford to be better.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, the league needs him to have success, right? If you
Yeah.
had a guy like that having success, Nathan Rourke having success, if you got these Canadian QBs, and then you got Curtis Rourke out there, you got I'm going to say his name wrong again, Taylor
Eldersma.
Egsma, who could eventually come in. So you got four
Yes.
young guys that could possibly be starting in this league in the next 5 years. All
That'd be
Canadian guys, I mean,
amazing.
right? That'd be crazy. Who would have
Yeah.
thought that? So, and then you're just hoping more and more guys follow that route, right? So I hope Trey Ford has a wicked season. I don't. Hopefully, can't remember his name now. Special teams guy from Calgary, the coach now of Edmonton. Hopefully, he has
Mark.
Quinnick. No,
Shoot.
Kill him.
Yes, Mark Killam.
Yeah, kill him. There you go. Sorry.
Two heads are better than one.
I mean, hopefully he has enough patience to give this guy time if he struggles in a game here and there or in the first game, and not quickly go to Cody Fajardo or whatever, So hopefully give him time.
Yeah, I think he'll be ready. I hope he does some serious quarterback training in the offseason. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like went down south and trained with like some, I don't know, whatever. I don't know why I'm cheering for them so bad, but I do want them to do well. The league
cheering for Trey Ford.
The league needs it.
Yes, they do.
Not only a Canadian quarterback, they need that pillar franchise to be making that money again and having 40,000 people in that stadium. It'll take time. And it's not going to happen in 3-4 years to get back to 40,000, but hopefully they can get that vibe going again.
Yeah, for sure.
Before we sign off, Bomber Nation and Winnipeg found out some very sad news about Chase Stiegel passing away. And of course, it's always really hard when you see a parent outlive their son. But when you have someone in the city of Winnipeg who's given so much of themselves, so much of their time, like, bro, he was on our podcast. Like what? We get a few hundred views here and there. And for him to take time out of his schedule to talk to two dudes who are just Bomber fans shows how much love he had for the city and the way he shared his family with Winnipeg. We do mourn with Milt and Darlene and the Stiegel family because he meant so much to this. He means so much to this city. We're mourning with you, Milt, and your family. So condolences and sincere condolences from us in Winnipeg.
Yeah, very well said. Our thoughts are with you guys.
Benny, do you have anything to say to our friends?
You know what? Just thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget, subscribe, follow. Enjoy week 1 of the CFL season, and have a good week.
Yeah, and in the words of LeVar Burton, in the meantime, in the between time, that's it. Another edition of Ray and Benny Talk Sports. And give your loved ones a hug. Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Denny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.